search of win number 1 on the season, the Orange and Blue begin a 2-game road swing in Music City. We get you set for the Oilers and Predators on the Oil Stream pregame show. Tom Gazzola and Matt Kassian inside the EST studios. We're in full-blown panic mode, Cass. No, we're not.
Or is we?
No, we're not. Thanks for joining us here on the Oil Stream pregame show. Join the conversation as always. You can hit us up via the text line 780-218-9999 or on the Nasty Chat on YouTube. I'm surprised you're not monitoring the Nasty Chat. You didn't have your
I know, I should have brought it. I had it. I should have
okay.
brought it. It's
That's
out there. I could run and get it, but I figure you'll update us.
I'll
So
update
we're
you.
good.
It's fun. Like the other night when we were doing post.
Oh, it's a blast.
At home, I'm going and I'm like texting people back and I'm talking. I'm listening. You're going through things from the game and I'm like, this is fun.
It is
like,
fun.
How are you doing this?
You know
like,
what?
Well, I'm listening and I'm watching and
You know what makes it so good, Tommy, is it's not just interacting with us. Like on the Nasty Chat, it's interacting with other nasties. And it's great.
Yes.
I love it.
It's very fun. So if you want to get on that, I know we're just getting people tuning in right now. If you are listening on your way home, don't text and drive. But if you want to get a point in, you can always text us from somewhere safe, 780-218-9999. The 0-2 Oilers taking on the 1-2 Nashville Predators. First true road trip, because that one off to Vancouver was essentially an extended day trip. Cass, what is that first real road trip where you're going multiple cities, staying multiple nights on the road in hotels? What's that like for a team just bonding and getting the season going?
Well, I think you're excited. You got to figure out who you're going to eat out with if you're one of the young guys, who not to eat out with if you're one of the young guys. But they'll probably do a big team dinner. First actual road trip of the year. You'll get out. You'll do something. You'll have a little fun. Not like getting into trouble fun.
No.
But, especially with it being Nashville, I'm sure there is some little bit of fun to be had, as there always is on Broadway. And you know what? It's just good to get out with the boys. Just everyone enjoys that first road trip of the year. Again, for young players or guys that are new, it's a chance just to spend time with your teammates, and you're kind of together all the time versus, you show up to the rink, you do your hockey stuff and you go back home.
Right.
This is like you're forced together. So, a lot of guys will treat it as a bonding time, but it's just kind of fun. And Nashville is a great place for a road trip to start.
It is Edmonton's sister city. That is a fact. And there's.
Is it a fact?
Yes, I believe Nashville is still Edmonton's sister city.
Really? I didn't know that.
Edmonton's sister cities. Here's the beauty of it. I can look it up right now.
There we go. That's why I should have brought my
Nashville,
computer.
only one of two cities, or only one of those cities. Nashville is still considered an official sister to Edmonton under Sister Cities International.
There we go.
I'll have to look up the other one, but Nashville is a sister city to Edmonton. And and we have the direct there, I believe.
I think so.
I think we still have the direct. But anyway, it's a ton of fun to go to. Now, did you wind it up a lot when you were there?
We had, what do you mean by wind it up? I'm not a guy that really winds it up anyways, but we had one time when I was with Ottawa, and we weren't playing very well, so I don't know how the leadership group swung this, but they convinced the team to basically, I can't remember where we played the road game before Nashville, but it was like we had 3 days or 4 days before that Nashville game. And normally when you have that long, even on the road in between games, you'll fly back home for a couple days and then fly out again.
Yes.
But they were somehow able to swindle us that we would fly to Nashville right after that game and basically have 4 days in Nashville before we played again. So there was rookie party. There was, you did the Country Music Hall of Fame,
which is cool.
Which is pretty cool. Did a couple couple live music spots. So it was pretty fun.
It's a neat town, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the Preds are at the heart of it. And I know that the Titans are right across the river there, and people of the Titans there, but it has become a good hockey city.
It's a great hockey city.
It really is.
It's they Smashville for a reason. They kind of have bought into that and into that mentality. Like they love hockey there, which is fantastic.
Yes. Okay, so the Oilers will look to enjoy their time in Music City. I'm sure they did a little bit away from the rink last night and then make it more enjoyable and get this trip off and running on the right foot with a victory tonight. I want to throw out the question of the night first. We're going to throw up the the lineup a little bit differently to everyone today. We're going to get into game changers pretty quickly. Then Joaquin Gage, who's in studio as well, is going to swing by, and the three of us will discuss the situation that the Oilers are presented with or have backed themselves into. It's 2 games into the season, I know, but post-game we're seeing and hearing the texts and the comments and people, this team's going, no, this defense sucks, these goalies are no good. Deep breath.
Pump the brakes.
Deep breath. We'll get there. Everybody in lockstep eventually, but everyone's getting on the same page right now. Okay, if you do want to get in on the conversation, I highly encourage you to share your thoughts on the question of the night, 780-218-9999, or in the nasty chat via YouTube if you're watching. Question of the night, Cass, I'm going to put it to you. Outside of picking up 2 points tonight, what are you hoping to see from the Oilers on the ice in Nashville?
All right, I'll go with 2 things.
Yep.
Top of the order, don't give up any 2-on-0s.
Oh, boy.
Oh, brother.
Yes.
That's kind of I feel like that's a given. But more than that, number 2 is limit your grade A blunders. You know,
good one.
Limit your grade A blunders. If Nashville comes out and they do something amazing, and they create offense because they've made good plays and they've controlled the puck and they find a way to put the puck in the net, that's going to happen.
Right.
Okay, that happens. But limiting the amount of opportunities that they get because you just did something stupid and completely brain dead, whereas just like those what were they thinking moments, we've seen a lot of those first 2 games. Eliminate those.
Yes.
Get rid of those. If you play a game without any of those, A, they're probably going to win, and B, it will make me much more comfortable with their mental state.
Since we're talking about that 2-on-0, to you, what was the most egregious part of it? Missing the net like Foegele did?
No, Darnell Nurse.
Jumping in.
I mean, Foegele, you can't miss the net in that situation, especially where it creates it's just going to basically rim and break out the other opponent.
Right.
But Darnell Nurse diving in. I mean, 5 guys below the tops of the circles.
Unacceptable.
Without a single one of those 5 guys shoulder checking was just absolutely horrible. But I think the ultimate blame for that does fall on Darnell Nurse because he's the last guy in. Just beelines straight in. Not a care in the world until the puck rims and he's just like, oh, uh-oh.
Guess I better get back.
Oof.
What was the second thing you're looking for on the ice tonight? So no egregiously bad grade A opportunities given up gratuitously. And the second one would be I want to see that same shot first mentality that they had in game 2. Yep.
Where they didn't try to be too pretty. There weren't too many, I'm going to make the extra pass. The puck was at the net, into the net. And I think they're at their best when they have that shoot first mentality. When the opportunity arises, put the puck at the net, get bodies to the paint. So I want to see that again. I think that would be, again, a big contributor if they get the 2 points, but something I certainly will be looking for tonight.
Question of the night, if you just missed it and you're just tuning in, outside of picking up 2 points, what are you hoping to see from the Oilers on the ice tonight in Nashville? You just heard from Cass on his. Cass, I'd like to see a consistent as possible, 60 minutes of just total, not effort, but level of play, because out of the gates in the first 2 games, it was like it spiked. They were up there for the first 4 minutes, and then both games, Vancouver got their first shot just after 4 minutes in, and Vancouver slowly started to turn the tide, and the Oilers kind of went down, and they picked themselves back up in the second period, and then the Canucks had a little bit of a pushback, and it had the same type of game flow. But in that first game, the Canucks were just taking advantage of every opportunity that was handed to them gratuitously, as we just said. And in game 2, the Oilers did eliminate some of those, but it's just the level of play and the consistency and how they were, I guess, going at Vancouver seemed to dip after a nice rise right out of the gate. And then they kind of find the level a little bit. Then they'd have a lull, and then they'd find it, and then they're scrambling to get the equalizer, and they can't get it. I just want to see consistency, and I want it to be at a moderately high level. That should, I would think, lead to 2 points tonight, if that's fair. Question of the night, outside of picking up 2 points, what are you hoping to see from the Oilers on the ice tonight in Nashville? 780-218-9999, or in the nasty chat. We've got some people chiming in. I will get to those. This one from Brad from Crossfield says, boys, good evening. Think they get back on the horse tonight. Better Betting-wise, I'm thinking Draisaitl goal with his history. Anything else you guys suggest? Brad from Crossfield, if you're betting tonight, Cass, what are you thinking?
I mean, I'm not a betting guy, but that's probably a pretty safe one to go with.
Yeah. 20 goals, 10 assists in his last 11 games against the Nashville Predators. Absolutely impressive. Okay, let's go into Game Changers now with Matty Kassian, our game analyst. Game Changers, as always, brought to you by Damon Bunting, RE/MAX Elite. Damon Bunting is a consistent top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out on DamonBunting.com or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Number one, Cass, on Game Changers, back to the blender.
Back to the blender. Happened pretty quick at the start of the season that we saw the lines get changed around. Mm-hmm. The nuclear option, I think Woodcroft started the season with both keys in. He turned both keys and hit the button with his face. Or something to get there right away, and we could see that tonight. Now there's been speculation by Dustin Nielsen and by others.
Yes.
Is this just a head fake? Is this a pump fake? Are they trying to juke the Nashville Predators at the start of the game, or are they
might be?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But regardless, you're in blender mode already. So we got the line blenders going on tonight. We'll see what happens. Looks like it could be Kane, McDavid, Draisaitl, Fogle, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Zach Hyman. Holloway, McLeod, and Brown on the right side with Ernie, Janmark, and Ryan up front. So a little bit of a change. Yes. A little bit of a change. Maybe moving Brown down to try to create some offensive potential for a third line that actually had been pretty good for the first couple of games, and maybe try to spark something with those top two lines. But listen, Tommy, I mean, it's a blunder one way or the other, because they already are either going with something they haven't gone with yet that we didn't really see in the preseason, or they're pump faking us and they're going to go back to their normal lines, which means they just practiced a couple days without their normal lines. So either way, we got a little bit of a blender situation going on, and it's an interesting one to me.
If it is the pump fake, Cass, does it matter to the guys that are trying to build chemistry, as we like to say and believe, or does it matter?
I think it can a little bit.
Yeah.
I think where it impacts you more, and this harkens back to a Derek Ryan comment from when Jay Woodcroft first came in, to where he commented on, the use of more of the four lines, to spreading it out and to everyone having an opportunity, everyone feeling like they were a part of it. Going with the nuclear option and having those guys play 24 minutes a night, is a fourth line guy, you're barely touching the ice. Right. If you're a fourth line guy that doesn't penalty kill, you're not touching the ice. I mean, your limits, your minutes are going to be so limited that you can't get into any kind of a game groove. You can't build that momentum. So even more from line chemistry, I would say it's almost like a mental challenge in going into a game knowing that you're not going to play as much. And I mean, I don't think it's a pump fake, Tommy. Now, maybe it is. Maybe you're looking at this saying, okay, Nashville's going to be talking. They're going to be doing their game prep, thinking that this is what the lines are going to be, and you're going to try to get your matchups against the McDavid line. You're going to try to shut that line down. You're going to try to have Roman Josi against them, both of them, all the time as much as you can, and then you pull the mat out. But it's like that works for one shift. So that's where I'm like, I don't really think this is a pump fake. I think this is what they're actually going with. And it's just interesting, again, to move to this, especially after the last game where it wasn't like they didn't have offensive opportunity.
They did.
Their defense, they gave up the big plays against. They made the big mistakes. But it wasn't like they played so horrible that it's like, we have to rework and retool everything. So it's, again, a little bit of an interesting decision to me, and something that will definitely factor into the game tonight.
We'll keep an eye on it. Certainly, like many of you, Norman a Combine checking in via the Nasty Chat says, what's all the background noise? Norm, great ears. And we got the doors closed to the studio now, but it is the EST client mixer tonight here at our studios.
And Joaquin Gage is in studio, and that instantly, like, he's wearing...
He's got the jacket.
He's got the jacket.
Which is
a noisy jacket.
It is a noisy.
It's a noisy jacket.
But speaking of Joaquin Gage, he'll be joining us shortly for a little bit. All right, number 1 in Game Changers was Back to the Blender. Number 2, I like this, Kitty Killer.
Kitty Killer.
Draisaitl.
Yeah, you mentioned it already. But how can you not have Leon Draisaitl as one of the game changers against the Nashville Predators?
Fair point.
You can't not.
20 goals, 10 assists in the last 11 meetings between these two teams that Draisaitl has just absolutely torched or killed the kitties, as you put it.
They're like little baby kitties. Yeah, yes. He's just kicking them everywhere, just walking up and punting them across the cave or the room or wherever saber-toothed tigers live.
They're little
these days.
saber-toothed tigers. Not innocent, beautiful little kittens.
No, they're mean. Yeah. They're mean kittens, and he's kicking them.
Large fangs. What is it? What do you think the root of all this success is?
You know what? So for me, when I played, my favorite building to play in was Montreal. Right. And maybe it was that, scored my first 2 NHL goals there. And for whatever reason, just like mentally, you had a great game there, and then it's like you're able to just continue that. And for whatever reason, psychologically, that's actually a real thing. Where if you have a really good game in one place, the likelihood of you having another really good game there is pretty high. Just like if you absolutely stink out the joint, the more often you do that, the tougher and tougher it is to climb out of that hole. Yep. And I think Leon has just had so much success against the Preds. It's just like it's like he doesn't even have to think about if he's going to have a good game or not. It's just automatic. Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if he has a huge one tonight. I mean, not just because of that, but just situationally too, with being 0-2 and wanting to win and now being on the road. And he's going to have one. That's sincerely my opinion.
At the right time.
Well,
right?
Yeah. I mean, right time would have been game 1. But
yes, touche. But we're at game 3 now, and if he has one of those special nights against the Nashville Predators, I don't think anybody who's an Oiler fan will complain at all. It is Game Changers with our game analyst, Matt Kassian. Number 1, Back to the Blender. Number 2, Kitty Killer, Draisaitl. Number 3, Ekholm.
All over the puns today.
Well done. This is all you.
This is all me, all over the puns today. Matias Ekholm, a hero's welcome back to Nashville. I don't want to say
Vikings welcome.
Yeah, I don't want to say like an absolute fan favorite, but an incredibly well-liked player, well-liked in the room, the community, by the organization, and has to be a big part of the Edmonton Oilers game. I don't think, Tommy, and I told you this before we started the show, I don't think Ekholm was really ready to go game 2. I think because they lost in such a dramatic fashion in game 1, they rushed him to a certain extent because he didn't look at 100%.
No.
I mean, and you look in the one goal, trying to pivot, trying to step outside, an area where we just never saw him get beat last year, he gets beat. Now, maybe that's just because he didn't have any preseason games in, but they limited his minutes, and he didn't look like the typical Matias Ekholm that we have come to know and love as an Edmonton Oilers defender.
Comfortable?
Did not look comfortable.
Is that the proper term?
Great term for it. Yeah. He did not look comfortable.
Right.
Now I'm hoping maybe the adrenaline of being back in Nashville, the opportunity to play there, the hero's welcome, as it were, the celebration around him, if there is any celebration that happens on ice, whatever they do, I'm hoping we see some health progress to where he's able to go out and he's able to play a lot closer to 100%. And to me, if he doesn't, it's a little bit scary that they really pushed him back too early, Tom, because we don't want to see this be some kind of an injury that lingers and lingers and lingers where, even if he comes back in 2 weeks now, he's just going to be at 80%.
I want to ask you and Gager when he comes back after we run Matias Ekholm's availability today about something in regard to the injury. So I'm going to park that. That does it for Game Changers with Matty Kassian, brought to you by Damon Bunting Remax Elite. Check him out on DamonBunting.com or his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. And with that being said, YouTube, Trev, let's hear from Matias Ekholm.
Yes, very. Yeah, it's different for sure. I've never been in this locker room, first of all, and then just to see all the people all the trainers and all that stuff. So just meeting the players again and be back for the first time. It's special, obviously, so just trying to make the most of it.
A little dinner at Phil's house last night to spend a little bit of time with the guys, at least?
Yeah, it was kind of nice to get away from downtown and just to go to Phil's house, and Yossi came over too. So it was a nice evening, just catching up kind of thing, and nice to hang out with them. And there we go.
What was last year like for you, just the whirlwind of being traded in the middle of the season and the success you guys had after that? And then did you ever get a chance to, like, catch your breath after all that?
Not really. I think that kind of sunk in here a couple of weeks ago when you're like, okay, I'm actually going back. And, I got the call at 4:30. You leave the next morning at 8 in the morning. You don't really have any chance to think about it more than just it's emotional at the time, and it's a whirlwind. But then got right into it. We won some games. We played some good hockey, and then you don't even, like, you almost put it on the back burner a little bit, and then it comes up now in the summer. You saw the date. We're going here early, which I kind of liked, so you kind of get it out of the way. Don't have to think about it the whole year, but it's going to be special. I mean, and I think it's a part of it is to let it be special too. It's one of those nights, and I'm never going to spend 10 plus years in another organization in my hockey career. So in that regards, it's going to be special, and I'm trying to embrace it.
You talked about that coming in here, never being in this locker room. What was the emotion like then when you walked into this building and came in here?
It was actually great because the first guy I saw was Craig, and he gave me a big hug, and he made me feel like it was just back to normal. So that's the cool part about this, like, hockey culture and everything. It's a whirlwind sometimes, but there's people that have been around for years and that really set who you are as an organization and as a franchise. And I think he's one of the biggest legends we've ever had here. So it was great to see him. The first thing kind of took the nerves off of it a little bit. So. But other than that, it's weird. That's the only word I can come to think of. I'm used to being on the other side of this building, so for the first time again, letting it be a little bit weird. I have to let it be special tonight and trying to make the most of it. Bottom line, we need to win a hockey game.
Yes, I remember the morning you got traded, we were talking just about that very subject, and then later that day you get that call. But were you were the subject of those kinds of rumors? Like, it seemed like every trade deadline it was Matias might be going somewhere, and I know you hated it, and you weren't hesitant to say how much you didn't like it. But when you got that call and it became real, how long did it take you to kind of realize that it was real?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, when you go through several deadlines and your name is always in trade talks, and I think it was 4 or 5 straight years, and you never get traded, then it almost becomes inevitable for you to, well, I'm probably just going to stay here then. And so it was more a shock than anything at that point. Not a shock because I knew we weren't playing to our capabilities, and we had shipped some guys earlier that week. So everything can happen, obviously, but very emotional, and like you've tried to. I feel like I'm one of those guys where I'm at a place, I'm all in, and I've been trying to win here for 10 plus years, and when that didn't happen, it's obviously an emotional thing, but it's weird with this world. And I came to Edmonton, and you kind of feel like you're part of that group right away, and then you get into that community, and then now we're trying to do something special with this group. So it's such a mixed up business that way, where it's like the one night you feel like you're going to spend your whole life here, and then overnight or over a phone call, you're going to complete opposite climate, end of the world almost, but not really. But yeah, that's part of this business, and it's the same for everybody.
Matias, for you personally, when you reflect on your Predators career, do you have one goal that really stands out to you?
As far as a hockey goal,
yeah.
I'm going to say an assist, okay. And I think it was on Mike Fisher scoring a triple overtime winner at home versus San Jose. That was a cool. Always the playoff, when you're contributing in the playoffs, it's the best. But triple overtime, I think it was like close to 2 a.m. in the morning, and it was a really cool game to be a part of, and it was a really cool game to be able to be part of ending.
Now a question about your now teammate, Leon Draisaitl. In his last 11 games against Nashville, he has 20 goals and 10 assists, 30 points. What was it like defending 29 whenever he was in town?
Yeah, not fun. Yeah, he's such a great player, and he seemed to just have everything clicking against us. So I've seen it now up close for the rest of the last year and then this year. So he's a special player. He's so hard to defend, and I think what stands out is he's so, I guess, versatile. Like he doesn't score the same way. I feel like it's all over the place, different. Like he could be from the goal line, it could be from up. It's everywhere. So it's so hard to defend. And yeah, obviously he had some great success against us. So it's nice to be on the same team with him.
What's maybe one thing that's often overlooked or underrated about his game?
Wow. I mean, for me, he's a top 2 player in the world, so I don't know if there is anything that is underrated. I think he's just really, really, really top end in all categories. I think his vision is obviously the thing that stands out the most. There's times where you go and he's got his back turned and you think maybe he sees me, and every time he sees me. So that's been the most impressive thing I think about it, that you maybe didn't know, but you do know, because he is that good and he's had that success for years.
All right, there was Matias Ekholm as Joaquin Gage joins us now on the Oil Stream pregame show. And you were talking about his lack of an accent. Very smooth in his homecoming to Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, I'd spent a year playing in Sweden, and it was funny how everyone speaks English there. Okay. So they learn it all. It's a dubbed culture, so they don't or it's not a dubbed culture. They have subtitles, right? So in all their shows. Yeah. So it actually helped me learning a little bit of Swedish and stuff. So, but yeah, it was always nice to go to restaurants. I'd go in Stockholm. It's called Gamla stan, which means old town.
Okay.
And you'd go to a restaurant there, and I would try to butcher my Swedish, and they would always respond to me in English. But Swedes, they love that you're trying. Right? They just think, oh, how do you like Sweden? I go, oh, it's like Canada, but it's Canada Light. And it was great. But yeah, you don't hear a lot of some words. You hear a little bit of the accent, but I mean, it's perfect.
What did you make of his performance in his opening game of the season?
Well, we got the 2 guys chat going. I think you come in with that chat now too.
Yeah, Tommy,
I got to get YouTube Trev's number so he can chime in once in a while, because he's so emotional. Wait till you're not going to see him tonight. Wait till I'll record him.
It is something.
But no, just look like a guy that hasn't played a game yet. I'm a little bit worried about the injury, because it looked like at certain points where he was overcompensating with the other side. Yeah, we'll see, Tommy. Hopefully everything works out, and he looks like he's on the road to getting back to the Matias Ekholm that we saw at the end of last year.
I wanted to save this until after we saw and heard from Matias Ekholm, and it was in regard to him coming off that injury. And Cass, prior to us throwing to the clips of Ekholm, was talking about how if maybe the Oilers had a better performance and result in Game 1, he waited until maybe this game to make his season debut. And the other thing that caught my attention was the other day when he was talking to us before they flew out, that was yesterday, he was talking about groin. And I was thinking to myself, wait a second. The team said hip flexor.
Yeah.
When you hear that, boy,
I think groin. It's groin.
Yeah.
Without question.
Yeah.
Without question. It's groin, which is, I mean, really, I don't know if you've ever felt around down there, Tom, but the groin and the hip flexor are pretty close.
Yeah.
And, from a body standpoint, they connect to the same area in your pelvis. So pretty closely related. But with both hip flexors and with groin injuries, how many players have we seen that have had lingering, long-standing issues where that's an injury that if it's not taken care of just doesn't go away?
Right.
So, I mean, I'm concerned that they pushed him back too early. I know. I think was it you, Gager, in the chat that said they're giving him the RG3 treatment.
Yeah, I did say that. I was supposed to be just what happens in the chat stays in the chat. But no. I just, you know how like we've all had those little tweaks. I only tore my groin once. You've had the
athletic pubalgia.
Yeah, I was going to say something else. But that one push, and then you try to overcompensate with the other side, right? And you're like, you can tell, and I go, oh, he did it once. And I don't know, sometimes when you do come back from an injury, you do tend to favor the other side just to make sure everything's all right. But, yeah, I'm with you, Cass. I hope he's feeling well and they're not rushing him back too early. Because really, the Oilers shouldn't be in a place where they need him to come back right now. Like, they should be able to withstand the start of the season without Matias Ekholm.
And they're sitting out a healthy defenseman.
Yeah.
Now, the level at which Vinny Desharnais plays compared to the level at which 65% Matias Ekholm plays still is staggered somewhat. Is that fair?
Probably, but I'm just thinking long-term here. Like, what's going to be better for the team long-term, not just now.
Right. Well, especially if that injury does happen to linger. That's a very valid point. We'll see how Ekholm does in his return to Nashville tonight. How about the return of not the return of, but Tyson Barrie facing his old team. What's that going to be like for him?
Yeah, it'll be tough. I mean, he was a liked individual. It's always tough when you go up against a buddy on another team. For me personally, because guys always seem to score on me that I knew. I mean, if we ever played together, Cass, I'm sure you'd have a hat trick way more than Carey Price. So, but no, it'll be for both guys. I mean, Matias Ekholm going to a place where he was played for 7 years. That's got to, like, I remember the only time something weird actually happened was when I got traded in junior and I went back to Portland to play, and I was with Prince Albert. And there was a delayed penalty, and I actually went to the Portland bench. Just out of like, I go, oh my gosh! And the trainer was laughing at me, and I had to kind of scoot over to the other side. But I'm sure there'll be some emotional stuff. For sure, a tribute video of some sort, and then get back to work.
Simple as that. Simple as that. Chime in via the nasty chat if you want, or if you're listening to the audio stream, 780-218-9999. I'll throw out the question of the night one more time because we did have some responses that I want to get to. It is, outside of picking up 2 points, what are you hoping to see from the Oilers on the ice tonight in Nashville? And this one from Jen says, Campbell needs to play like preseason. I want to go to bed in a good mood. That's a fair point. Let's see if there was anybody else that had anything that they wanted to say about the expectation on the ice. Steve says, I think I'm most excited for tonight is to see Gager's jacket again, and you happen to be wearing it, so that's good.
It's got to make they got to win, or else this thing's going back in the closet.
Let's go into, here's a good one from Vance Van Vandervan. Good to hear from Vance Van Vandervan. Remember old quadruple V? Vance Van Vandervan says, hockey's back, Nielsen show is back, and the pre- and post-game show is back. If this tent in my pants persists until after the game, I'm going to have to seek the help of a medical professional.
Get groin issues.
Yeah.
Groin, what did you suffer from?
Athletic pubalgia.
Suffering from online Viagra. That's
oh
what that
boy,
is.
that's what Vance Van Vandervan might be dealing with here. This one comes in from Hersey, says, hey, fellas, I want to see the Oilers win the even strength scoring battle. 1 goal, 5-on-5 in 2 games isn't what this team is. Let's get going 5-on-5 and not bank on the power play from Hersey. What are you guys seeing 5-on-5 here, outside of not enough offense?
Well, they had offense or offensive chances last game, but they didn't have the puck go in the net. So, yeah, do we want to see more of that? Absolutely.
Is it as simple as saying they got out-goalied? Because I know that's been floated around a little bit.
No, you still scored 3 goals.
Right.
And I know Gager and I differ on this. We disagree, and that's okay. We're
fine.
allowed to disagree. But it's like, you can't expect goalies to stop 2-0s. And so to sit and to say or to blame Stuart Skinner on the loss, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. I think defensively you're still giving up way too much. Your rush chances against you give up way too much, and that's been an issue the first 2 games.
That's true.
Where they haven't sorted out things well. They've made mistakes, and yeah, I don't blame the goalies.
Yeah, well, you got to listen to the episode earlier today to hear me.
Great episode.
This is the new thing, is that Gager hates goalies.
Yeah.
He thinks they're all garbage, and that teams in the NHL should all just play with 6 men out the whole games because they'd be better off.
Your goaltender's membership card will be rescinded.
It was
shortly.
someone already called for it.
Oh boy,
Someone pulled it this morning.
Yeah, but no, I would like to see a 60-minute game. Right, at a high level, and there's going to be points when I think Nashville's going to match that intensity. But I think over the whole game, if the Oilers play that way, there won't be a way that Nashville can keep up with them at that point. And that's what I think they need to establish, and that's what I want to see. I want to see just a full 60-minute game, see what that looks like, and see if a team can handle that when the Oilers put that through, and that, of course, deals with a lot of 5-on-5 play.
Couple more texts coming in via the nasty chat. This one says, Woody giving second unit some time when first power play unit is gassed. Are we actually going to see that tonight, guys?
Nope.
I hope so. I would like to see a minute and a half and off.
Leon's staying on the full.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
like, who did you ever play with when it was okay for them to stay out? Erik Karlsson.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
no, he would stay out the whole, and that was back even before, because more teams do it now than they used to, where it's like the main PP will take up like a whole minute 45, where before it was like, no, you kind of had it cut off at a minute. Yeah. Where it's like you had 2 units and you'd have a minute, and there was like a true second unit. But Karlsson was on both. He would stay out the full 2, and towards the end you're like, okay, Carl. But now it's more commonplace now. Like, I don't know, it's less of an issue now, I guess. But Erik Karlsson, without question, there was no way you were getting that guy off. Yeah,
I remember Ronnie Lowe got mad at a bunch of guys staying out too long, and then he came in, and if anyone's ever seen Ronnie Lowe, he's fired up individual. He was really fired up. But
like YouTube Trev.
He was
YouTube Trev's giggling over there. You just said his name on air.
He was yelling at everyone and then pointed at Doug with it was expletive. This is the only guy that can stay out for the whole 2 minutes, and pointed to Doug Wade.
Those guys have rules. It's so true though, Gager. It's like you have players that have the ability to do that. That was just like they probably have told this on the podcast before, but it's like I tried one toe drag in my career. One. And you know, you've seen me play at our alumni shinny games, and it's like I toe drag all the time.
Yeah, that's
everywhere. It's an automatic for me when I play shinny. But I did it one time, and it was kind of a play where I got just straight up my butt, and I wasn't able to do much with it except do that. Turned into a nothing play, 50-50 puck, chip the puck in, get off the ice, and Mike Yo just looks at me and says, "Never do that again." and it's like there's things guys can do, and there's things guys can't do, and for some of those, like a Doug Wade or an Erik Karlsson or a McDavid or a Draisaitl, they're gonna stay out the whole
time. Allowed.
There's an interesting comment that came in via the nasty chat from some stranger, great alias, says 16 shots on goal isn't giving up too much.
When 7 or 8 or 9 of those are grade A scoring chances, that's the issue.
Yes,
that's the problem.
Yes,
it's not just the pure volume of shots, because do volume of shots matter? Yes.
Yep.
But do the quality of shots matter? Yep.
Yep.
What were I'd like to see the shot attempts by Vancouver. It's like they could pick and choose, right?
They had 9 blocked. The Oilers had 9 blocked shots.
Yeah.
Vancouver ended up with 16 shots, so that's 25 attempts at the net. That's not
have your missed attempts too.
I might have missed attempts. You know what? I'll pull it up, but it seemed like a lot of the 40 shots that the Oilers officially had, on top of the 25 that were blocked, not including the missed shots, it felt like a lot of that was perimeter.
Yeah.
So,
Vancouver, I think, does they do a decent job of protecting the front of the net. Big body defensemen, a lot of them pretty large.
Yes.
And they did a pretty good job of clearing the pucks away from the front of the net. I'd be interested. I haven't looked. I think I looked the other day. I haven't looked at the heat map to see where the shots were from.
Right.
The shot attempts.
I'm pulling up the event summary right here.
See, analytics, they're good, guys. They tell us something.
They do tell us something. Absolutely.
They learn something.
The Oilers had 20 missed shots, and the Canucks only had 8 missed shots.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'd have to rewatch, but it seemed, just if memory serves correctly, they could pick and choose. Like, they were actually having shot selection to get to that better spot to shoot the puck, and that you can't have that. If you're going to have 16 shots against, it's because that's all they had, and then have a bunch of blocked and make it very frustrating for the other team. It's just too easy.
2 tip-ins and a 2-on-0, and then a Sam Lafferty goal where he just beats Matias Ekholm and then fires one. And then the psychology of Stuart Skinner, I know he's into the positivity. He's focused on that a lot in the offseason, and then just said, you know what, outside of that 4th goal, I was happy with my game. Did that catch you off guard?
No, because I completely agree. I think that 4th goal, you could look at it and you could say, oh, I really, really wish you would have got that one.
Right.
I think that's fair. And his assessment of that is a fair assessment to say, although Gager would be like, no, he should have had all 4 and you should have 82 games of straight shutout, because that's how he feels goalies need to play these days.
No, the reason why Stuart Skinner said that, as a goalie, he made a lot of saves just that hit him. Like, he was in good position. So a lot of times, if you're making saves where you're reaching and having to make the big windmill glove saves, you're not feeling that great about yourself, because you're having to do something special to stop the puck. A lot of games where I would get, I'd get 10 right in the crest. I'd think, man, I'm really on it today because I'm in good position. I'm controlling my rebounds. And that, I think, is what Skinner's referring to when he says, my game is pretty good. I got beat by a few of these things, but overall, I'm getting in good position, and I'm not allowing any second chance opportunities. So that's, I think, what he's referring to is I like my game where it's at. But if he was sitting here with mics off, I go, yeah, I need to step it up a little bit and try to take one of those goals away. But positionally and how I'm controlling the puck and how it's feeling, that's what I think he's referring to when he says, I like where my game's at.
Steve French via the Nasty Chat says, I think stronger 5-on-5 play would be good to see. Then small things like winning races and battles, just a simple, well-played win. That's what he's looking for on the ice tonight. I did see another one that I wanted to get to from Maple Jed. Said, what's up, fellas? Have you walked back from the ledge that Tom and Dustin were teetering over on Oil Stream yesterday? We were riding the emotion, Maple Jed. We were riding the emotion of the loss from the night before, and we had a lot of fiery texts that were coming in. So, yes, I think we've all taken that deep breath, and we've had a moment to reflect, and I think we're in a good headspace right now, I think, is it fair to say. Elmo says, at the end of the day, Skinner has to make the big save in that game, and he didn't. That's the one goal. And he talked about that.
That's isn't that what I said, Ken?
Yes, that is exactly what you said. All right, boys. I don't want to take up too much of your time. You got to mingle. It is the EST client mixer, and it sounds like the party's going good. How's it going over there, Matty? Is all good?
Big thumbs up. It sounds like it's bumping out there.
Yeah, Jeez. It sounds like you guys need to get out there right away. This text, we'll go a couple more minutes, then we'll start running some audio and video clips. This one says, I tore my groin doing a mountain race in 2018. I went back too early without treating it, turned a 6-8 week recovery to 14 months. That's from the Buff Puffin.
Yep.
How long did yours
take? Well, mine, I had to surgically fix it, right? I had to staple everything back on down there. So, I did, if you've heard the story, I had some good Philly cheesesteaks because I had my surgery in Philly. I don't remember them, but apparently I had them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my mom had to take care of me because the team was traveling, so I had to have someone come in.
And the meds kicked in.
The meds kicked in.
Yeah.
But that was, I think, a 6-week recovery, 7-week recovery post that. But that's with the surgical fix.
Goalie sliding side to side. You're working the
No, it was actually, I just went down. And, the guy I remember who shot it, little small center from St. Louis. Oh.
Andy
Montgomery.
Jim Montgomery?
No, not Montgomery. I'll think of it later. He just shot, and I went down, and I felt my groin just like it felt like it overlapped over each other.
Oof,
and I went for the MRI, and it was just torn all the way down on my groin. Yeah, 6-7 weeks, and it was, and it's funny because I couldn't walk. But then the next day I was fine, after, and so I was like, "Oh, I'm good to go," and got on the ice and then did a little C cut, and I was like, "Nope, that's not working."
Not okay.
And the most frustrating thing as a groin is you do feel good, but it's especially for a goalie. But as soon as you're pushing out, it's fine. But once you start to pull, that's when it's like, oh my gosh, there's something really wrong. And
it's the explosive movement.
Yeah.
It feels pretty good until you really have to, if you're just kind of casually going around or in, let's call it rhythm skating, which defensemen do all the time.
Yeah.
So defensemen, they especially ones that play a lot of minutes, because they play so many minutes. So a guy like Darnell Nurse would apply. Erik Karlsson was one of these where you'd have a resting shift.
Mm-hmm.
And defensemen, they would talk about this where it's like they're not pushing as hard that shift in terms of they're not jumping into the rush. They'll slow up the ice and they'll save some of their energy.
Yeah.
And it's so if you're in that conservative mode where your team has the puck and you're not having to be as explosive, you might feel okay. But the challenge is then when all of a sudden, oh wait, it's a one-on-one or someone's coming at me with speed and I got to try to push all of a sudden or move laterally really well. That's where it's it could all of a sudden turn into a huge issue right away.
Yeah. No, that's I'll have the ISO cam on Ekholm tonight to just see his mobility and see if he labors on one side or the other, right? So, fingers crossed.
A couple of texts here that come in via the Nasty Chat. Then we'll throw to, looks like Tyson Barrie is queued up next from YouTube Trev. This one says, eliminate the opposing net front presence, or if you cannot do that, at least don't screen your own goalie, easier said than done. And we've seen this on the tip-in goals and the long shot goals. I chalk that up to missed assignments. Is there more to it than that?
I think it's recognition of the play. When I watch the defensive zone structure, it seems like there's a lot of puck watchers at times, not recognition of where the danger is going to come from. The first 2 goals in the first game were guys coming from like behind the net to the front to get that's make it difficult, or make them go the long way around. Don't let them go straight lines. Just it seemed like everyone was so puck focused in their own zone that they didn't recognize those players coming in, and that's they got to battle way harder in those areas. It's got to be way harder to score goals 6 feet out in front, no tips, controlling sticks, and allow your goaltenders to see it.
And it's been like guys like Kulak who've missed their assignments, guys that are usually pretty solid, and which has been the surprising part, at least for me. Cass, what are you seeing there?
No, I was at like a YouTube Trev level of rage.
You were on fire game 1 and 2.
I was losing it, and part of the reason I was losing it was because of the puck watching, where I was just like, I look at one of the goals and I went back and was just watching them, and I was just like, if I hit play and then hit pause, hit play and then hit pause, and it's like every single frame I was just like, it's just glued to the puck, staring at it and puck watching. So it's, I mean, to me, when they've had issues in their defensive zone so far this season, that's been a huge issue. And it's also been a huge issue on their rush defense against, when the other team is pressing, whether it's an even man rush or an odd man rush, where it's like everyone backtracking, so back-checking in the defensive zone. They've done the exact same thing, where it's just like they stare at the puck. No one's shoulder checking. No one's paying attention. No one's getting in a lane to force someone to skate around them to make it more difficult to get to the front of the net, because you can't grab onto people and interfere, but you can get a lane and hold the lane, and they just didn't or haven't done it enough.
Yeah, it looked like an extension of preseason. Just guys, it's something simple that's going to click for most of these guys because they've done it for so long. But yeah, it's just sometimes you're just so focused on the game, and you're just, that puck is so juicy, and there's the puck.
It's like the 8-year-old kid.
Yeah, 8-year-old kid.
Just the pack.
Just the pack mentality on the puck. It's a magnet.
Okay, last one for you boys, and then it'll be time to mingle for you two, and I'll take care of the rest of the show. Slow Clap Johnson via the Nasty Chat asks, or says, statement game tonight coming up from my boy Jackie Soup and his confident long flow back. LFG state Slow Clap Johnson adds at the end of that. Is it a statement game for Jack Campbell, or is it just play it as simple as possible, trust your instincts, and go with what got you the success you had in the preseason? I
like the matchup because you're going up against a guy that's normally talked about in Vezina candidate. You always get up for going up against the big dogs. So this is a chance for him to outshine one of the best goalies in the NHL and gain something from there. He's got to outplay UC Saros tonight. That's no easy task, but I think for Jack Campbell, it would be a huge feather in his cap if he could establish a game like this early.
Cass, he's 4-1-1 with a .315 GAA, .897 save percentage, with one shutout in 6 games against Nashville in his career. Good numbers.
Good numbers. I mean, we talked about Draisaitl and those teams you feel good against, and the same applies for goalies. So he's had some success against them. I think, with hopefully the team's mentality in front of him, he's able to come out and put together a good night.
Big saves. Let's see if they can show up 5-on-5 and give Campbell some run support, as well as playing solid defensively in front of him as a 5-man unit. Boys, thanks for the time. Cass, excellent stuff. We'll see you on Thursday. And Gager will stick around for the post-game show. Go mingle, boys. Up next, Tyson Barrie facing his old team for the first time.
Against the Edmonton Oilers since being traded, what are the emotions like heading into tonight?
It's all right, nice to have the summer pass before, probably lucky I didn't catch him at the end of the year last year, but, it's great to see all the guys, and, it'll be fun to get out there, and I'm sure have some chirps thrown around, and, big game for both teams though, so it'll be a lot of intensity, and obviously you guys are looking for your first win, so I'll try to make you guys start 0-3 here.
You guys, you know firsthand who is the worst chirper on the Edmonton Oilers. Who is that?
Worst or best?
Worst.
I don't know. I don't think DR is saying much to anybody out there. Nursey's usually bringing the chirps, and he backs it up, so that's always a fun one to watch. But, yeah, just it'll be fun to fun to get out there against these guys. I've been playing with them the last few years, so obviously I haven't got to play against Connor and Leon and Nuge the last little while. I'm not sure that's a good thing, but we'll see. We'll see tonight.
Leon seems to score lots of goals here in this building against this team. What do you bring to the table that can put an end to that?
Well, I'm not feeding him the puck anymore, so obviously he's had some. He's been riding a hot streak in here, and his first, had first-hand seats to most of those. So see if I can impart some wisdom and some knowledge on the guys in here, and see if we can't do some things to slow them down a little bit.
What did the Edmonton portion of your career kind of mean to you and your career in regards to just how well you fit with the team and the community?
Yeah, looking back on my time in Edmonton, it was a blast for me and my family. We kind of, had our son, started to raise a family there, and made a lot of good memories. And obviously, getting a chance to play on the Oilers in front of that fan base and play with Connor and Leon, Nuge, these guys, and get a chance to be on that power play and do some pretty cool things and have some playoff runs was something I'll always hold very close to me. And I wouldn't take any of it back. But to get traded to come into a place like Nashville is you couldn't ask for much more. And I'm getting settled in here now and enjoying my time.
When you were traded to Nashville, you came into a team that was really kind of going through some things, and you were thrust into a leadership role pretty quick. What was that experience like for you?
It was interesting. I'd never been traded mid-season, and to come in and, they were kind of retooling, and, they saw a lot of big pieces heading out. And, I came in and luckily I knew a couple guys, and they've got a great leadership group in here. And although we did run into some injuries too, so we were, we were battling. We were still in the playoff mix last year, and I thought we showed a lot of character. And, a lot of young guys came up and got chances to kind of show themselves at an NHL level and did a great job. And, now they're back this year and playing full time. And I think it was a big kind of stepping stone for our team here, just to prove that we weren't going to give up and kind of go away. And I think we did a good job of that all last year.
Last game against Boston, obviously penalties proved pretty costly for you guys. Beyond that, anything in particular that you guys have taken away that you're focusing on for this game?
Yeah, some little puck battles, but I think it was, their power play scored, ours didn't, and that's hockey sometimes. So we definitely got to work on getting our power play headed in the right direction here, and we'll do some things, make a little adjustments, and try to get it snapping it around.
You told Luke Gazdic you had wedding crashers, which tells you what kind of a wedding you're having when people want to crash it. What was it like? It looked, from what we've seen, it looked like a really great time for everyone.
It was a blast. Honestly, it was just really cool to kind of have everyone be able to come and check out Vancouver Island and Victoria, BC. A lot of guys make it to Vancouver and they love it, but they don't get a great opportunity to hop over the island very often. So it was cool to have so many great people in one place and show off my hometown. And it threw a hell of a party.
There's Tyson Barrie. They call him Vibe Daddy for a reason. That was his nickname when he was an Edmonton Oiler. And honestly, one of the better guys to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Didn't really shy away from anything. If things were bad, he'd tell you, and he didn't hide or anything like that. If he was frustrated, you would get that vibe. And so Tyson Barrie, a key piece of the Oilers, especially on that power play. We've seen Evan Bouchard step in and have some success, and he'll continue to have success, surely. But Tyson Barrie did play an important role up there, and he was a very popular member of the team. I appreciated any time he took to chat with me inside the locker room, whether it was on the record or off the record. He was fantastic, and he was very much liked, respected, and appreciated by his former teammates and the Oilers staff, as well as the media. I think it's fair to say that. Barrie, as an Edmonton Oiler, 190 games, 25 goals, 107 assists, 132 points, a +5 with 54 penalty minutes, and just enjoyed his time in orange and blue. A couple of texts coming in regard to Tyson Barrie. Scott Aroni says Tyson looks better in blue and orange. So, yeah, it's you got to give up something to get something, and I think most Oilers fans would appreciate the trade that did go down and do also enjoy having Matias Ekholm in the fold, the big Viking, kind of what they needed on the back end as the EST mixer continues on. Sounds like a good time back there. Tara from BP just said hello, took a peek in.
Nice,
hello,
nice.
Tara. Hello. Good to see you. I will be going out there after we wrap up the pregame show, but we've got some time still, and we do have some business to attend to. If you want to join the conversation, 780-218-9999 is the number to text us. And if you want to get in on the nasty chat, just hit us up there. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Our numbers keep growing, and we want to keep this going, making it the best sports talk station in the city, and we can't do it without you. So thank you for all your support. We really, really appreciate it. Smash that thumbs up button, as they say. We're playing that algorithm game. All right, I will get to some more text. Steven says, Tommy, are you in studio for the mixer? I am. The mixer's happening right outside the studio doors. I'll be joining it after we wrap up the pregame show, and we'll all be watching the Oilers at Preds together. Looking forward to that. And some stranger says Tyson Barrie's from Vancouver Island. Did not know that. Yes, BC boy, that Tyson Barrie. All right, we're going to hear now from Jay Woodcroft as we go inside the coach's room.
To your lineup, and I just wonder, with it being a couple games in, is it never too early to change? You kind of want to see some different things.
Well, I think the big difference from game 1 to game 2 is we liked our compete level. There was parts of our game that we liked, but there's still things that have to improve, and the bottom line is we're looking to win a game here tonight. That's where our focus is, and to continue to improve. As I said, I saw improvement in the process, but we didn't do enough to win a game, and tonight that's what our aim is to come out of this building with 2 points.
McDavid and Draisaitl have had a lot of success against Nashville even before you were the coach of this team. Is that maybe a reason to throw them together?
You know what? I think it's just more in the service of trying to find a way to win a game here tonight. And we were joked yesterday with a couple of guys. I don't know if you were there, DMB, but we just about how past performance is a poor predictor of future results. Certainly in the financial world, but in terms of what we're doing today, it's in the service of trying to find a win and trying to find the right chemistry to make sure that we continue to take a step. We thought game 2 was better than game 1, but it wasn't enough. We're looking, as I said, for 2 points in this building.
Hockey's
tonight.
not necessarily finance or business, though, is it?
Huh? Well, you never know. I don't know if you can just put things as money in the bank hockey-wise. You got to go out and earn it. You can't just rely on something that happened a few years ago.
Jay, I know you're focused on the day's business and getting a W, but you've always been cognizant about players and their return to certain cities. Of course, Matias Ekholm today. What's the feeling like having number 14 back in the city?
Well, first of all, it's nice having number 14 back in the lineup. He missed a lot of time, missed six weeks or so. That's a lot for anybody, regardless of your experience level or your skill level. I thought he came in and gave us some minutes. He's feeling good about himself. But to do so, to get a game in at home before he returned to the place where he cut his teeth in this league, I think it's going to be a special night for him, and I know his teammates are excited for him. But again, the main focus of our team today is walking out of here with 2 points.
When it comes to trying to get inside and be more effective in the hard places, does your power play ever bleed into your 5-on-5 play? Does this team, because the power play is so good, does the team try to play that way sometimes, 5-on-5?
I think you'd be remiss, Spec, if we thought that our power play was only about the highlight play of tic-tac-toe and shooting it from a different spot. I think what our power play doesn't get enough credit for is the work-based habits that go into the final result, which, as we know, last year was historical. I think there's some things that our 5-on-5 play can learn from our power play, specifically the hunger to retrieve pucks, the second and third efforts to find results, the willingness to shoot and get it back, the willingness to find some success in what we would call the slop trough around the front of the net. Those are things that I think we can do a better job 5-on-5. Certainly 1 goal in 2 games, 5-on-5 isn't to our standard. We spent some time talking about it. We've worked at it. Now it's time to see it in place.
Slop trough. That's quite a term.
Western Canadian term.
I was there last night around about 1:30 in the morning.
I don't want to hear that, Bob.
Did you get that from Dave Manson?
Huh? No, I think Glenn Gullitson's a Western Canadian boy too. So slop trough. There's one for you guys.
Jay, when it comes to implementing new systems, as you are right now, are these stretches and maybe lapses in your own zone a part of the growing pains that comes with implementing a new system?
See, now I would disagree with you there, Tony. I think if you look at some of the goals that we've given up, I think only one can be attributed to defensive zone coverage, and that would have been the second one in game number 2. I think there's other areas of our game that has to get cleaned up. But in the defensive zone, I think we've done a fairly good job. I think we're sitting at the second lowest shots per game against in the NHL. I would also say that I think the amount of minutes that we spend in our own zone is towards the best in the league. So the ability for teams to come through us to get to our zone has been fairly decent. The amount of time spent in our zone has been fairly decent. But there's been moments that I feel that we can be better. Individual moments that I think we can be better in. But in terms of systematic stuff, there's certainly some things we can improve at, but I think there's moments and individuals that can improve.
Where do you think Connor Brown's game is at right now? Him coming back from a long injury and just kind of still
I think he's finding himself. The good news is that he feels good. That's step number one, is making sure that he's feeling good. But as I said to this group assembled here right now, I said it to them a few weeks ago, and I've said it to Connor personally, is that that's a major injury he's recovering from, and we're prepared to be patient. So in terms of where he's at in his game, he's playing some competitive, high-level, high-paced hockey 11 months after a major injury. So it's going to take him a little bit of time to feel normal, get his hands and timing where he wants it to be. But in my opinion, he should feel good that he feels healthy and that his coaches and his teammates all have patience with him.
In fact, he is playing with Holloway and McLeod. He said he might give him a chance to touch the puck more and maybe get going that way. Is that maybe a reason to do that?
Yeah, maybe. You know, and obviously he's been in the league for a while, so he's playing with two younger guys. He's got a good voice to him. He knows what to say, how to say it. He's been a very good teammate, and that has the makings of a good line if they play together.
There's Oilers head coach Jay Woodcroft talking about Connor Brown coming back from his injury. Obviously a tough one when you blow out a knee. Matias Ekholm's return to Nashville as well. His team as a whole said he liked the overall game more in Game 2 as opposed to Game 1. Not lots to like in Game 1, certainly. And Game 2, they had their moments. They actually had a lead. Started out great, and then slowly but surely Vancouver was persistent. They worked hard and were able to grind out a 4-3 win over the Oilers. We'll see if Edmonton can continue success in Nashville tonight. The Oilers have been overall not particularly great against the Predators over the course of the Preds' 25 years in the National Hockey League. The Oilers right now against Nashville, 35-37-8 with 3 ties all time. At Nashville, 16-19-4 record with those 3 ties. So we'll see if they can kind of get closer to 500 with a win tonight. Perhaps the Preds 1-0 at home so far this season. Edmonton on the road 0-1, as this is one of 9 games on the NHL schedule. Let's get you up to speed on what's going on around the National Hockey League tonight. 2-0 Philly leads Vancouver. 5 minutes left in the second period there. 2-0 Minis up on Montreal at Bell Center. 2 minutes left in the first period. Tampa Bay, Buffalo about to get underway. Arizona visiting Long Island. Edmonton, Nashville. LA in Winnipeg tonight. Colorado visits Seattle. And then you've got the Hurricanes at San Jose. And the late game tonight will see the Dallas Stars visit the Vegas Golden Knights. So some intriguing matchups, I suppose. Maybe LA, Winnipeg. We're going to see the return of Pierre-Luc Dubois in Winnipeg. I did see Connor Hellebuck breaking in his new Jets third jersey gear. Interesting setup. I don't particularly love that uniform. YouTube, Trev, have you seen it? It's the powder blue with the odd stripes. I do like the origins of it, though.
Yeah, the story behind it's pretty cool. But as far as it's it's definitely older, right? Like that's a whole new look. We haven't seen anything like that in a while.
Well, it harkens back to I think the 40s or 50s.
Yeah, something like that.
And it's based off Royal Canadian Air Force hockey team,
which is pretty cool.
I love that element. Yep. It made me immediately like it more. Now, going back to those 30s, 40s, 50s vintage uniforms, and there were some odd ones. You know where I'm going with this, right?
I don't know if I do.
Heritage Classic jersey that the Oilers are going to wear, right?
Oh, yep.
And they were practicing in the gold or mustard brown gold pants. What did you
that we
think?
saw.
I don't mind them. I actually think it's going to pop. I think it's going to look fine.
I think it's going to look a heck of a whole lot better when they have their whole uniform. Because we just seen them as they just had their practice gear on, so we didn't get to see the whole uniform. But yeah, like I didn't mind it. All the advertising that we seen when they first launched, the photos of Connor in the whole uniform, it looked a lot better. I was like, okay, this is sweet. And then when you tweeted out the first video there, I was like, it looks a little different than
lighter than
they are lighter. Yeah, but they'll still look good.
I think they're going to look fine. And I've seen a lot of Heritage Classic A jerseys at these first couple of games.
Yep.
I think because in the preseason there was a game the Friday against Seattle where those jerseys had been unveiled and for sale, and people were wearing them. And then I've seen a lot of like the hats and the hoodies and stuff with the logo, and I'm like, you know what? It's different.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. They're coming in hot, just like Tom Gazzola on the oil stream.
Hey now, Steve clarifies it's the 46 Royal Canadian Air Force team. So that's the touch of history with the Jets throwback new uniform. Really like
always
that
good when
to
teams can implement a story into their uniforms.
With the Oilers, it harkens back to the 52 Mercuries who won the Olympic gold for Canada, and Canada of course didn't win Olympic gold till 2002, which was absolutely incredible. I remember that. Still in high school.
I was 4. I don't remember that.
You were just a bebe. You were a fresh bebe back in the day. We got some stuff coming in via the nasty chat. I'll get to that shortly. We do have a little bit more in terms of audio and visuals to show you and let you hear. I will get into starting lineups as well as the teams are on the ice for warm-up. We weren't sure if there was a bit of a red herring being thrown out by Jay Woodcroft, stacking up McDavid and Draisaitl. It was weird, too, yesterday at practice during the rushes. Draisaitl was centering, and McDavid was playing right wing, but as I put it, like, those two are interchangeable.
They definitely are interchangeable. I wonder does that have to do with just Draisaitl's face-off? Is he a little bit better in the face-off, you think?
It maybe, but you know what else it might have to do with? Connor going up to Leon, I'll play right wing on practice today.
Yeah,
like,
okay, that's
for
fair.
them.
It really doesn't matter.
Here,
yeah,
everyone else is still catching.
They can do their own thing
in terms of like how ready they are and all of that. That's just them being elite, and I think it's now you take center today at practice. Okay,
I think that's totally
really
fair.
all it is, to be honest with you. So I did put Draisaitl when I did the line combination thing yesterday. People were like, what is something wrong with? No, I'm sorry, but he did take the reps down the middle. Okay, let's hear from Andrew Brunette, and then after that, we'll get into the line combinations. The teams are on the ice. I do have confirmation on starting netminders as well. We'll probably confirm the lines for you, too. So right now, Andrew Brunette, head coach of the Nashville Predators.
In terms of the versatility that he brings to the table and the different roles.
Yeah, as advertised, I think coming in, you kind of knew what type of player he is, but to coach him is... it's a real blessing. He's a kind of a Swiss Army knife that does so many different things for your team. So he's better than advertised, and I thought he was pretty good coming in. I think he's just reliable two-way. He's got pretty good hands around the net. He's been good on the power play when he's been in front. Plays an honest 200-foot game. So really lucky to have him on our team. He's been really good so far.
Coach, what kind of a role does Tyson Barrie fill for your squad?
I think he fills some mobility. I think in the way that I like to play, I think it's good to have that active D where he can move and he can make plays with the puck. I like having the puck, and he sees the ice really well. So he fits some of those molds offensively. I think he generates, he creates a little bit. His timing offensively is very, very good in the offensive zone. So he fits a little bit unique player for us. We don't have a lot like him, and he's been a good fit so far.
Any line changes for you guys tonight that you're anticipating?
No.
Any update on Luke Shin at all? I haven't seen him in a month. Thank you.
So lots of guys get hot against teams and they just score lots of points against that team, and it's just a thing that happens. Do you just wait for that to go away? Do you try to squeeze out of it?
I don't think we're the only team that has a real problem with a couple of those guys, but I think they're okay. Yeah. Obviously, you'd love to slow them down, but they're great players, and as you guys all know, they're as good as a combo that I can remember, at least in all my playing days and coaching days and watching hockey, maybe Gretzky, Curry, that kind of stuff. So you just can't stop them, you just try to contain them a little bit, and, easy said than done.
Predators have outshot their opponent in the first 3 games. What is it that the team is doing specifically that's generating so many chances?
Well, I think we've done a good job of getting up the ice and taking time and space away, and I think we've created some turnovers, and I think we have another level to get to. I'd like us to have the puck a little bit more. I think some games we throw it away, but I think we're creating kind of out of work ethic, pace a little bit, and will. I think we've played really hard as a team. We haven't get the rewards that you'd like to get. I think as a coaching staff, Monday morning, you kind of wake up and you're 1-2, and you felt you left points on the board in all those games. Obviously, special teams have played a big role in that, but I like where we're at. I really think we can have the puck a lot more, though. We throw it away a little bit too much, and I think that's part of getting used to playing a certain way, but something that we're pretty cognizant, or I am, about our group.
You've had success everywhere you've been. How do you build a good power play? As you assemble the latest group of personnel here, what's
if we can get McDavid and Draisaitl, I think that'd be a good.
When you do,
yeah, no, I'm kidding. No, I think we just seem a little bit out of sync. I think cohesiveness is such an important factor, and I'm not overly familiar with these players. It's kind of my responsibility to figure out where they fit. So it's a little bit of a trial and error process right now, and it's been, I think looking back at the Boston game, I really liked 3 of our power plays. The other 2 stunk, and then you have broken ones, and you leave the game, you're 0 for 7, and you feel terrible, and rightfully so. But we're doing some things we're not really getting rewarded for, and I'm hoping if we do get rewarded for it, we start, I wouldn't say believing in it, but maybe you get a little mojo out of it and it becomes smoother and more cohesive than it is. I find right now it's either a little too slow or it's broken, and we've had a bad habit of kind of going rogue, a little bit, and that as a coach isn't great. So we got to tighten that up a little bit.
When you say rogue, is that kind of the pond hockey element that you got to watch? You got to maintain a healthy balance between creativity and not getting out of position.
Yeah, you got her. I think we feel, we got some really good players. They feel, we could take the game over and we're going to play pee-wee hockey and kind of go on our own. And that's not possible. Well, maybe for a couple guys in the league, but not for our guys.
There you go. There's Andrew Brunette, head coach of the Nashville Predators. Here's what we're expecting from the Preds tonight as they take warm-up right now. This is coming to us 7 minutes ago via Emma Lingen, who covers the team on a day-to-day basis. O'Reilly between Forsberg and Parsonen. Glassed with Nyquist and Smith. Novak between Tomasino and Evangelista. Sissons with Trennan and Sherwood. So I'm not seeing any Duchesne there. And they had him earlier in the day in there. No Duchesne. He's with Dallas. Yeah, that's right. Why did they have... Someone had Duchesne up there earlier today. I'm like, what is going on? Ridiculous. Yeah, he's a Dallas Star. Thank you, YouTube, Trev. I'm like, what the hell's... Yossi and Fabro on defense. McDonough and Carrier. Lauzon and Barrie. Saros gets the start for the Preds. UC Saros versus the Oilers he's 3-4-1 lifetime versus Edmonton, .269 GAA, .926 save percentage with 2 shutouts in those 9 games that he's faced the Oil. 1-2 this season, .241 GAA, .920 save percentage with a shutout in 3 appearances this year. The 28-year-old Saros is, and confirmed Jack Campbell getting the nod for the Edmonton Oilers, the 31-year-old, 0-1 on the season. .873 GAA, .750 save percentage in 1 game this season. 4-1-1 lifetime versus the Preds. .315 goals against average. .897 save percentage with 1 shutout in 6 games against Nashville in his career. So Forsberg, O'Reilly, Parsonen, Glass between Nyquist and Smith, Novak with Tomasino and Evangelista, Sissons with Trennan and Sherwood, Yossi paired up with Fabro, McDonough paired up with Carrier, Lozon with Tyson Barrie, UC Saros is your starter in goal. As for the Edmonton Oilers, I haven't seen anyone confirm anything different from this morning. So this morning, this is what we saw from the team. It was McDavid with Draisaitl and Kane, Nugent-Hopkins with Hyman and Fogle, McLeod with Holloway and Brown, Janmark with Ernie and Ryan on defense, Matias Ekholm making his return to Nashville with Evan Bouchard paired up with him, Darnell Nurse with Cody Ceci, Brett Kulak with Philip Broberg. That means no Vinny Desharnais for the Oil. Question of the night, I'll throw it out there one more time. Outside of picking up 2 points, what are you hoping to see from the Oilers on the ice tonight in Nashville? 780-218-9999 if you want to text us. And then if you want to hit us up via the nasty chat, I see that it's going on right now. This one, the nasty chat has just become its own thing. And people are just talking amongst themselves. I see that. I appreciate that. Someone asking, I think it was Bobby, saying, who does your hair? Chantal at Exalte. She's fantastic. Absolutely great. If you get a chance, go check her out. This one from Big Loco. Big Loco via the text line says, big opportunity for Jack tonight. Could take number one spot with a big game. Are we already at that point, YouTube, Trev? Do you think?
Sorry, I was looking at the chat. My bad. What was the question?
Big Loco made a statement. It was big opportunity for Jack tonight. Could take the number one spot with a big game. That's from Big Loco. Are we there already, do you think?
I mean, all he needs is just one solid start. Go from that. I don't see why not. If he plays good, which, here's hoping he does. I think, it's his net, go with the guy that's hot. If he's the guy, if he's going to win tonight, for sure, I'm going to just go with him.
Okay, so if he wins tonight, are you playing him against Philadelphia on Thursday?
Yeah, I would.
You would? Okay.
I wouldn't change it up.
Okay. I'm okay with that too. D. White says, hoping for a great game from Broberg and really solid effort. I'm not going to read that word for Soup. And, of course, a win for the Oilers. Could tonight be the night? Also getting texts coming in from Nashville. Oilers fans in Nashville taking in their first game in Music City. Larry, shout out to you. I know you're probably listening while you await the game in your seats. The team's on the ice for warm-up right now. That's a great time, and some pictures as well from Broadway. An absolutely tremendous place to go and watch an NHL game. A couple of stats to throw your way. Again, if you want to chime in with your thoughts, by all means, hit us up via the nasty chat or 780-218-9999. The Oilers all-time at Nashville, 16-19-4. with 3 ties all time. And then overall against the Preds, since they came into the league in 98, 99, 35, 37-8 record with those 3 ties that we talked about. Last year, the Oilers went 14-16-4 against the Central Division. The Predators were 16-5-3 versus Pacific Division teams. So excellent record against the Pacific Division last year for the Nashville Predators. Edmonton, not so great against the Central. Central has some decent teams in there that can give you fits, and the Oilers certainly dealt with that last year, looking to improve upon that mark this season. Now, Edmonton's power play riding into this game, 3 for 11. That's 27.3%. Good for 7th so far early in this year. The PK, a league worst, 55.6%. They'll have nowhere to go but up from here when it comes to the penalty kill. The Predators, meanwhile, power play 1 for 14, 7.1%. That's 24th in the National Hockey League. The Predators' PK, 66.7%. That is also 24th in the NHL. We're going to go around the league one more time, get you up to speed on the 8 other games taking place tonight. Philly 2-0 up on Vancouver after 2. Also 2-0 after 1 in Montreal as the Wild lead the Habs. 1-0 Buffalo, 9 minutes into the first period over Tampa. No score yet between the Islanders and Arizona. That one just 9 minutes in. We've got Edmonton and Nashville coming up next. Then we'll see L.A. at Winnipeg, the return of Pierre-Luc Dubois. Seattle hosts Colorado at 8 p.m. our time. San Jose hosts Carolina at 8:30 p.m. our time, and also at 8:30 p.m. the Vegas Golden Knights host Matt Duchene and the Dallas Stars. Somebody put Duchene on Nashville today in their lineups, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I just wanted to point that out.
No, you're good, man. I didn't see that, but I believe you.
I saw it, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Oh.
Qu'est-ce que c'est? What are we doing here? Anyway, so the lines one more time for you for tonight as we get set for the Oilers and the Preds. Forsberg with Parsonen and O'Reilly down the middle. Glass between Nyquist and Smith. Novak between Tomasino and Evangelista. Colton Sissons between Yakov Trenin and Kiefer Sherwood. On defense for Nashville, Roman Josi with Dante Fabro. McDonough paired up with Carrier. Lozon with Barrie. And UC Saros is the netminder for Nashville. As for the Oilers, what they rolled with yesterday at practice looks like how they're going to start out this game. McDavid between Kane and Draisaitl. Nugent-Hopkins with Fogle and Hyman. McLeod between Holloway and Brown. Janmark with Ernie and Ryan. Ekholm paired up with Bouchard. Nurse paired up with Ceci. Kulak paired up with Broberg. No Vinny Desharnais for the Edmonton Oilers. Luke Schenn remains day-to-day with a lower body issue. And we will see Michael McCarron as a healthy scratch as well. Anything good coming in via the nasty chat? I see you giggling over there. No? Yes?
No, I was kind of just thinking of the score tonight. I was hoping it's going to be a good one.
Okay. Let's get to some final texts here that are coming in. I see people are chiming in with some thoughts. This one says, Oilers are still short a top 4 D-man. That's from our good friend Hontorio Momes. Good to hear from you, Hontorio Momes. Penner's Pancake says, Pesci coming with a bunch of praying hands emojis. I don't know how they're going to make that work, Penner's Pancakes, but, I mean, you never know, but unlikely. And then dipping into the text line, we've got a few to get to here. This one says, Tommy, so nice to have the pre- and post-game shows back. You boys in Edmonton Sports Talk rock. Thank you very, very much. And another one says, there's no universe where Josh Morrissey is available in fantasy leagues. LOL. That's from GM Parisian. And this one from Justin says, Tommy, soup gonna get hot. The gray looks good. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate that. Thank you for not dropping any expletives as well. I appreciate that very, very much. We try to keep it a neat and tidy show and as PG-13 as possible, right? PG-13 is about.
Yeah, that's what we go for.
Sometimes, like Bryn Griffiths was in earlier today. You
Yeah.
dropped a couple of S-bombs.
Yeah, and yesterday we had our first. I don't know if Maddie told you.
Yeah, Guy Flaming.
Yep.
Where was it? Very deliberate. Or was it? Did he slide it in, kind of like?
No, it kind of just happened,
Oh,
and
boy.
it just we went with it, and it was a great moment in EST history.
All right. This text coming in from Andrew predicting 5-3 Oilers tonight. Holloway scores. Wrinkles says Edmonton 1, the other team 0. All right. That'll do it for the Oil Stream pregame show. A huge thank you to Matty Kassian, our game analyst, as well as Joaquin Gage, who slid in for a little bit to give us his thoughts. He will be on the postgame show tonight. Matty has some business to attend to postgame, so Gage are sliding in as our analyst for tonight. YouTube Trev, great work as always. Matthew Wanick, thank you as well. For Wanick, YouTube Trev, Gager and Cass, I'm Tom Gazzola saying thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. Enjoy the Oilers at Predators, and we'll talk to you on the Oil Stream postgame show.